Navigating the corporate world can sometimes feel like walking through a minefield, but that's what human resources is there for, to help you. But sometimes they don't really help you now, do they? But I know somebody who can. In fact, he's also got a brand new book out that's going to help you navigate those tricky situations when it comes to human resources. We Live Out Loud with Stephine Obongo next. Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. I'm so glad you're on this channel. My name is Sheila Mwanyega. Please click subscribe and hit notifications. Watch the video to the end. Drop us a comment, and if you like what you see, please share it as well. Now, I'd like you to also hit that bell on the side so that you click on notifications and never miss an episode when we upload. And we are living out loud at the waterfront, Karen, East Africa's premier destination for lifestyle and retail. Set up shop or expand your business alongside local and international brands that now call the Waterfront Karen home. The Waterfront Karen, you've arrived. And we are living out loud with an incredible man. His name is Stephine Obongo, and his breadth and knowledge of experience when it comes to human resources is critical. Thank you for making the time to be here.
Thank you so much, Sheila.
As we kick off this conversation, let's start with getting to know you better. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a human resource practitioner. Currently, I work with National Bank. I have a career life spanning to about 14 years now. But I didn't start my career in human resource management. My first degree is in accounting, but later on I changed into human resource management. I worked in the accounting environment for a period of about 9 years, but I transitioned from finance into accounting. into HR because of a number of reasons. First of all, I'm very passionate working with people, and that somehow also defined the reason why I decided to move from finance into HR. Crunching numbers for 9 years was somehow really...
You'd been there, you'd done that, yes, it was time for the next.
Yes, it was really an interesting time for me to move. Yeah. And my main reason is because I also want to climb the ladder within the corporate world and probably one day lead some of the blue chip organizations.
All right.
And I have a very clear understanding that successful running of organization really depends on two key things. That is one, the people aspect, which is now the basis or the foundation of human resource management. And then the second is the number basis. Of course, yes, now I am clear that I have done it on the number basis.
Now it's time to explore.
I'm a certified public accountant, right. Having worked in finance environment for 9 years. That was nice for me. Now I decided that let me move now and park it to the people side, right. So that when I get to that position, then I'll be in a position to run the organization in the most effective way. My career in human resource started in Barclays. I joined Barclays in employee relations space. Then later on I got an opportunity to work with the biggest bank in East and Central Africa, that is Kenya Commercial Bank, as a senior employee relations manager. And last year in 2018, March, I got an opportunity to work with National Bank as the head of employee relations. And that is the space where I am today.
Fantastic.
Besides the corporate world, I am very passionate. One of my hobbies actually is reading. And after my bachelor's, I went and did my, first I completed my studies in CPS and became a certified public accountant. After finishing with my master's, I went into pursuing a doctorate in human resource management. But before I finished, then the landscape in human resource management in Kenya changed with the implementation of the act that is managing the human resource management space in this country. So it became a need because as practitioners, again at the level of my role, it required us to upskill and to get the professional qualification in human resource management. So in 2017, I took the step among the first team that went for the first examination in human resource accounting professional. It was an interesting environment that at that point in time, I was also given an opportunity to train at the College of Human Resource Management, actually specifically teaching human resource accounting. And the challenges that came up at that space gave me an opportunity to do a lot of research in human resource accounting, to be able to build up the capacity to deliver some of the learning materials that were required for the professionals that the country is actually targeting, to ensure that as a country we focus in nurturing and building up capacity of employees that can help in running the organization. So today I do on a part-time basis lecturing on a number of colleges to just try to help this country in building up human resource accounting professionals.
In listening to you speak and understanding the passion that you have for human resources, you know, people, I once went for a training session, and we were told in the training presentation, when people leave their workplaces, they don't leave the workplaces, they leave people. It comes down to relationships, and there's nobody who can make your life as difficult as a boss who doesn't get along with you. And there's nobody who can make your life as difficult as a colleague who makes your life difficult because they don't like you, because you don't get along. It makes for a very stressful and difficult environment in the workplace because we're all pulling in different directions and going in different directions. So in looking at the work that you do, I'm sure you have sat in many meetings listening to the issues that people have in the workplace. If you were going to say these are the top 3 problems in corporate spaces when it comes to human interaction, what would those 3 be?
It's important for us also to understand one thing. I know it has always been said that when people leave organizations, they leave their bosses. But I hold a different opinion, because when we just say that, then we in my opinion, we are unjust to good bosses. We see people leaving organizations when they have supportive bosses who build their capacities and give them wings to be in a position to experience new frontiers. Yes, it is true that many times people leave organizations because of bad bosses. And sometimes it is also just because there are certain failures within organizational systems that are sometimes beyond actually the bosses themselves. My clear understanding and perception about human resource is that any person who have people working under them is actually a human resource person. They manage their expectations, they understand these people, and they live with them on a day-to-day basis. The most unfortunate thing is that most of these leaders or these managers or these bosses do not have the human resource management skills. They don't know how to manage people. They can't talk to the expectations of the people. Sometimes they don't relate to them. And that is why, in my opinion, human resources has a big space and a huge opportunity to be in a position to actually bring an organization to another level. Talking about challenges, the main 3 challenges that I think are there, that talks to one of them. Leaders not prepared in a space to manage the people or the team. I've seen one of the main challenges that organizations do is promoting people to leadership position in terms of managing people based on their performance, probably on a specific role. So what normally happens is you find that there's this individual, there's this Sheila, who is good on her numbers, she's working very well, she's achieving her objectives, and then the feeling that she's now ripe for promotion comes. And then you give her promotion, then you put people to work under her, but she did not have that skill of working with people. Then you expose her to challenges, which actually we've also seen some people fail. when they are now given the responsibility over people. So that, to me, is one of the challenges that actually drives people to failure within organization. Another very important thing that also I've noted within the HR space, that contextually in our country or in developed countries, is challenges to do with a link between HR responsibility practices with the wider expectation of the organization. To what extent do HR functions, when I talk about HR function, I'm talking about things like recruitment, I'm talking about functions like employee relations, I'm talking about functions like reward and compensation. To what extent do HR professionals internalize these processes and connect them with the strategy of the organization? When that one is lacking, then a problem comes. And the problems normally arise, for example, if I pick one area like recruitment. To what extent do you understand as an HR practitioner the impact of the decisions that you make on recruitment on the bottom line of your organization? Because organizations are formed purely for profit maximization. Sheila, today if you open your business or if you start your business, your expectation will be to maximize your profit. Right. And then you employ an HR department that just focused on ensuring that you have people without necessarily connecting what these people are going to do within your organization and how their impact will be on the bottom line. Blamed on HR sometimes, but also sometimes blamed on HR, on management broadly. We have challenges to do with interests within organization. A leader wants his or her kin. Of course, yes, sometimes this don't look good, but we still live in Africa, and sometimes we expect this. A niece of mine, and I'm MD up there, my niece, my nephew, my friend's son has just graduated and they want an opportunity, then I push it on HR. But when I push it on HR, the question is, do these people really have the skills that will help me drive the bottom line of my organization? Third, which I think is also very, very critical, is the transformation of the policies and the procedures and the strategies of an organization from a blueprint on what we want to do on what we are actually doing. Again, the African in us is sometimes we have soft up when it comes to people we have certain inclination with. And we become so rough and pushy on people that probably we have a disconnect with. And that double standard kills people's passion within organization. And that is where you will have quotes like what now you're saying, that people don't leave organization, they leave their bosses. People leave organization when there is an injustice. If I'm a good performer but I'm not being rewarded fairly, and somebody who's not pushing the weight is being rewarded, it's human that I'll feel shortchanged within the system. Exactly. And then I'll leave the organization. Right. When such happens, then it becomes very, very important for the leadership of the organization to have a very clear diagnosis to understand the root cause of the problems that happen within the organization. But I can assure you, if an organization can get it right from a human resource perspective, and when I say getting it right, is getting it right from the time that you make the decision of bringing people within the organization. What I always say, that when we are doing recruitment, are we recruiting to bring the people within the organization, or are we recruiting to bring the skills that we need for the success of our organization? When you do it in that way, then you will move out of the shadow of, one, without fear, tribalism, without fear, friendism, issues to relate with friendship, but you'll be looking at, if I bring this resource, whether she's from the coast, she's from Nyanza, she's from Central, she's from where, but it's a person who carries the skills, the competencies, the capabilities to be able to drive that bottom. Then you will get the job done. And when that is done, then you give an opportunity for your business to grow. And when your business grows, then everybody celebrates. Of course. As employees, we get our cake. You get the bonuses that you're talking about.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yes.
Listening to you speak, I can now understand why it was inevitable for a book to come from you. Because there is heart, there is passion, there's a deeper level of understanding and relation to human resources. So tell me a little bit about what you've written. What is the name of the book?
Okay, the book that I've released is a book that is addressing the gap in human resource accounting, and specifically the book is on human resource accounting practices. A first read on the topic of the book throws people away, and I've had many questions about human resource and accounting. How do they meet? It is important for us to be in a position to conceptualize and get a clear definition of this term accounting, so that when we put it in a human resource perspective, it becomes very clear. The International Accounting Standard and the American Association of Accountants defines accounting just as a simple process of collecting data, recording data, summarizing data, and generating information for decision making. Purely, that's basically what it said. It has always been associated more with financial accounting because that is where the practice is. Over time, that is where the space has been lying. But what are we saying as human resource professionals? That we also need to be in a position to collect data effectively about people within the organization. We need to collect data about the various functions, the activities that we run on the medical space, on the pension space, so that we are in a position to look at that data and be able to see trends and make decisions for organization that will be impactful and that will add value to the organization. I love a saying that if you want to predict tomorrow, the easier way is to look at the past. And that past basically is what I'm talking about, is the data. The data that you collect about human resource within your organization. How do you utilize that data to effectively run your organization? So this book purely is about an accounting practice within the HR space that covers all the functions of HR, but critically aligned to ensuring that HR has data. Many of the buzzwords that we have in today's HR environment, I'm sure you've heard about big data, data analytics, metrics, and all those kind of buzzwords. Yes. If you immerse yourself into that space, they are really not as buzzwords as they are, because human resource accounting, if I relate to some of these terms, is just that space of collecting that data and having it in a space whereby if you want some decisions to be made, then you can relate to that data. Mm-hmm. Then you move from that human resource accounting, where you have that data, to human resource metrics. When we talk about metrics, we are just talking about measurements. And what kind of measurements? We talk about measurements like, for example, revenue per employee, cost per employee, because those are critical factors that affect performance of an organization. The moment you have those measures, what I always say and what I discuss passionately with my students is that these measures in themselves, they don't mean anything. Like, for example, if I were to say that the revenue per employee for my organization is 80%, or if I were to say that the cost per employee is, let's say, 50%, it doesn't mean anything. Unless I go back to the data and try to look at the movement of those numbers and see, is it growing or is it declining? How does it compare with organization A and organization B? And then the moment I see those numbers the way they relate, then I move myself into the analytics space. If they are moving in the direction that I didn't expect, then I start asking myself question, why is this happening? Why is my revenue per employee declining? Why is my cost per employee increasing? Because the moment those numbers are changing like that, then they affect the bottom line of your organization. This book purely addresses the result-based view or perspective of human resource. So that, Sheila, if you have your organization and you are doing recruitment, then you must just subordinate your mind to the impact of that recruitment to the bottom line. When you are implementing salary reviews within the organization, you are trying to address what will this salary increment do to the bottom line of my organization. Because remember, many times people think that people enjoy working in the organization that pay them high salaries, but that is not the case. Not everybody joining the organization is just looking for higher salary. Some people are looking for opportunities for personal growth. So you might not necessarily be paying very high, but you're giving people an opportunity to broaden their skills. You're giving them the opportunity to grow their career. You're putting them in an environment where the culture is right, where they have the right conversation both for themselves and for the organization. And everybody wants to be in that kind of a space. Then this issue of people leaving their bosses, then we'll tone it down. And then we'll achieve employees' objectives, why they join the organizations, and we'll also achieve the organizational objective on why we do business. Every business is formed with an objective. Treat your people well, manage them well with all the human resource skills, which theoretically, there are many principles in HR that if we implement effectively, will definitely have a good impact on the bottom line. And then I achieve my two objectives. I achieve on people and I achieve on my financial.
You kill two birds with one stone.
One stone.
So where is the book available?
The books will be available at the universities because it's an academic book. It will be available at the universities, it will be available at the College of Human Resource Management and all the tertiary colleges that train people on human resource management. My last conversation also with the Catholic University is that they will give me an opportunity also to post it in Amazon, so probably in a few minutes time then you'll be in a position.
People from all over the world can order a copy.
Yes.
And you know, they say the world is now very small. You pull a little spider, what is it, the butterfly effect, and all across the world the effects are found and felt.
A global village.
Yes, a global village. Everything is connected to everything else. I am so proud of your, work and what you've been able to achieve with your passion. And I've met your lovely wife. She is absolutely stunning and wonderful. And I'm sure she's the Shikilia through the days and the months of writing and making sure that this product is right and good and ready for the market. Thank you so much for making the time to be here and to speak about your life work and your journey. And I can only imagine it's only going to be a matter of time before that which you have prepared yourself for actually manifests itself.
True.
Na utukumbuke ukikuwa CEO. Nikijaribu kukupigia simu na ushiki simu.
Yes.
I will just post this interview over and over again.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully you'll be able to catch up with me.
Sheila, I can assure you about one thing. When you have passion for people, and I've seen leaders who have occupied those top positions, but they still have an open door policy for people. When the thing that is driving you in an organization is the people, even as a CEO, you get that bonus of the bottom line, and no shareholder will be at your back.
Look after
Treat your people well, direct them towards their success, and they will bring the success back to you. So I can assure you, you'll beat.
People first. He said it himself. His name is Stephine Obongo. His brand new book is out in stores. Make sure you grab your copy. I wish you all the very best and success in all that you do. Be sure to check out my social media handles because I will post more details on how you can get your copy. Thank you for watching this episode. As always, please click subscribe, hit notifications, and catch up with us for the next episode, and we will upload it from the Waterfront Karen, East Africa's premier destination for retail and lifestyle. Come out and enjoy a great day out. You can shop, you can sup at local and international retail brands that all call the Waterfront Karen home. The Waterfront Karen, you arrived. Until our next episode, live out loud in all that you do. Bye.